Hello children, welcome to AKN Sprint Education. In this session, why should we balance a chemical equation? Take one chemical equation and explain procedure of balancing it, and which is the one of the most important 4-mark question. Why should we balance a chemical equation? Actually, according to law of conservation of mass, the total mass of products formed in chemical reaction must be equal to the total mass of reactants consumed. Here, the two words, one is product and the second one is reactants. That must be same. The total mass of products formed in chemical reaction must be equal to total mass of reactants consumed. I will explain through an example. For example, let me take C plus O2 gives rise to CO2. Simple equation I took. So here, let me say what are the reactants and what are the products. Here the elements which are participating in the chemical reaction are said to be reactants. Here the reactants are carbon and oxygen, C and oxygen, which are participating in the chemical reaction. They are called as reactants. And whatever the end thing you are getting, that is called as product. Okay, here CO2 is called product, but whereas carbon and oxygen are called reactants. You are getting my point? The total mass of products formed in chemical reaction must be equal to the total mass of reactants consumed. Whatever the reactants consumed, whose mass before the chemical reaction and after the chemical reaction must be same. And second one, the number of atoms of each element before and after reaction must be same. How many atoms of carbon here? Here the number of atoms of carbon 1. Here we have 1 carbon atom, 2 oxygen atom. What about on right hand side? We have 1 carbon atom and 2 oxygen atoms. So number of atoms of each element before and after chemical reaction must be same. So see, before reaction and after reaction must be same. And also third point, atoms are neither be created nor to be destroyed in chemical reaction. So we must be balance a chemical equation. Is it clear children? How to write the 3 points? Why should we balance a chemical equation? Because according to law of conservation of mass, the total mass of products formed in chemical reaction must be equal to the total mass of reactants consumed. That is first point. Second point, the number of atoms of each element before and after chemical reaction must be same. The third point, atoms are neither be created nor to be destroyed in chemical reaction. So we should balance a chemical equation, right? Now coming to second point, take one chemical equation and explain procedure of balancing it. Let us take one unbalanced equation. For example, H2 plus O2 gives rise to H2O. This is our Skeleton equation. Also we call it as unbalanced equation. Skeleton equation are also called as unbalanced equation. Here, what are the elements which are participating in the reaction? Here, if you see, elements which are participating in the chemical reaction, LHS means reactants, RHS means products, right? So elements are hydrogen and oxygen. So how many atoms of hydrogen here? 2 atoms of hydrogen. How many atoms of oxygen here? 2 atoms of oxygen. Whereas in right hand side we have 2 atoms of hydrogen, but whereas we have only 1 atom of oxygen. Is it a balanced equation? Of course, which is not a balanced equation. Okay, which is a unbalanced equation. Now the question is, we need to balance it. Okay, so number of atoms of oxygen before the chemical reaction are 2, but whereas after chemical reaction is 1. Are they balanced? No. So we need to balance the chemical equation. Now let us take the equation once again. H2 plus O2 gives rise to H2O. Because whereas on right hand side we have only one atom of oxygen. So one more important point, whatever you want to change, we must change only its coefficients. Only we must change its coefficient. I mean least whole number we have to take. See, suppose if I take here 2, because we need 2 oxygens. Okay, if I take 2 here, then number of oxygen atoms will become 2. Because here 2 atoms of oxygen. But obviously it is affecting number of hydrogen atoms. See, if I put here 2 over here, 2 oxygen atoms, whereas number of hydrogen atoms are 2 into 2, it will become 4 hydrogen atoms, which is impacting. Okay, so here now it will become how many hydrogen atoms? It will become 4 hydrogen atoms. But whereas left hand side we have only 2 hydrogen atoms. So what I must add here? I must add here 2. So then this will become 2 into 2, 2 to the 4. 4 hydrogen atoms on left hand side, 4 hydrogen atoms on right hand side. 2 oxygen atoms on left hand side, 2 oxygen atoms on right hand side. Right? Atoms, number of atoms of each element before and after chemical reaction must be same. See here, number of oxygen, hydrogen atoms 4, 4, oxygen atoms 2, 2. They are same. And also atoms are neither be created nor to be destroyed. We cannot create, we cannot destroy. So this is the way you need to explain this question by balancing the chemical equation. Okay children? So I hope you understood this question, which is one of the most important question. They may also ask in SA1 exams as well as in public examinations. Thank you children.